Well, good morning and welcome back to Stories from the Collection. You join me for episode 3 in a location that I feel embodies 2017 for me. Newer, greener pastures, a very productive swim, a really productive year 2017, and also the founding of some new lasting friendships. 2017 was also the year that I met my good friend Paul Oxenham, a brilliant English lad who came over to visit some family and brought a rod with him, and in previous years had tried his luck at fishing in Ontario and unfortunately didn't get a result that he was looking for or that he knew Ontario had to offer. So we met up through Facebook and spoke for some time before he arrived, and leading up to that he had learned that my birthday was fast approaching, and he thought, well, is there anything I could get for you while I'm over here? I said, a tub of NS1s, right? That's pretty much all I wanted, because Northern Specials are still, to this day, one of my favorite baits. And Paul said, well, let me have a look through my shed and see if there's anything in there that you might like, And he took a picture of a couple reels and sent those over. I think one was a Shimano Nabi 7000, and the other was one of the classic Shimano Aerolex 6000s, the XS series. Absolute tanks those are. But he also surprised me that afternoon on the bank with a rod. This rod right here. A gorgeous Sportex Kev Carp, 12 foot, 3.5 test curve. I immediately fell in love with this rod. You can feel the ribbing under the epoxy, and if you look really carefully you can see the patterning of the Kevlar all the way down the blank. This wonderful characteristic red whipping on here that I think Paul had done custom. And I partnered that up with a Biomaster 8000, and if anybody here knows anything about the Biomaster, they'll know that's a pretty indestructible reel. Paul and I had some great memories, starting with that very day. I put Paul on his first Canadian common. It was a nice 20-pounder, and we had a couple of fish that day. I dove down the bank after a fish that my spouse Taya had hooked into that decided to give us a little bit of a hard time on the mat, and Paul captured those memories as well. It was just an incredible day, an incredible way to start off Paul's week in Canada. And the rest of that week went exactly as planned. We landed quite a few fish and shared some great laughs, and we actually came to this very location to end off Paul's stay here, and we had an incredible overnight session, and I think that really solidified our friendship. We were able to stand each other overnight, which is quite an achievement for him, I will say, to have to put up with me on an overnight session. Paul returned in 2018, and we went to Rice Lake, and we landed so many fish with our good friend Vince White. I don't even know how many fish, but I do recall that towards the end of that session, Paul had mentioned to me that if the next time he saw me, I better be on his side of the pond, which we did arrange. And that winter, I made a plan to go to England, and my plan was just to show up. You know what I'm saying? I paid for my plane ticket. Paul said, I'll look after everything else, mate. Don't you worry about it. Once again, showing that kindness and that generosity. And, had a few friends of his that all sort of took me in as well. And, they put their money together and they gave me the itinerary of a lifetime. I was to fish Pads Lake in the Yateley complex. I was so excited. And that 72 hours on that lake was trying at times, but to see Paul land 2 40s back to back, my new friend Andrew Conradi land that 30, and then I finally had my very first UK carp out of one of the most historically significant lakes in all of the UK. Paul and I have obviously had these incredible sessions together, and he even said that some of his best spent sessions have been spent with me. So I'm honored that Paul feels that way, and I think I've had some pretty memorable sessions myself with him. But every time I look at this rod, I'm reminded of our friendship. And so today, I'm going to fish with this Sportex combo at a location where Paul and I fished and had one of our most memorable sessions together. Another funny thing is that Paul had mentioned to me when he brought that rod over that he had no idea how he had acquired it. And it took a couple of years for his memory to start serving him a little better, we'll say. And it was just before I actually started this series. You know, I kind of probed him one more time. Paul, where the heck did you get that Sportex from? And he said, you know, mate, I actually was just thinking about that the other day. I'm pretty sure I bought that rod from the Yateley Angling Center in 1993. And I immediately got chills down my spine. He brought it over as a birthday present in August, and my birthday is 1993. You might call that coincidence. I call it fate, you know? But either way, really exciting story. And every time I look at it, I just think about this incredible friendship that I've forged with Paul. So Paul, this video is dedicated to you, boss. I hope it finds you well. And there is a crap load of feeding bubbles out there. So I'm gonna get this rod out there and let's see if we can put a fish away on it. Well, that didn't take too long. But it has indeed pulled me into some weeds. Such power in this rod. I have absolutely no concerns about putting the backbone to these fish to get them up and out of those weed beds. Thankfully the weeds here aren't too dense. They're more just really tall columns, so once they get themselves down to the bottom, you can sort of feel as the line rides up. It's certainly pulling like a good fish. My oh my. Difficult to get an angle on him with all that clump of weed, but under there somewhere. Boy, quite a bit of salad. It looks like a quality fish, nonetheless. There we go. Oh yes, hello, hello. Come on now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wait till you see this. What a stunner. Well, I have to admit, I was hopeful for today, but I don't think I had any idea that something as beautiful as this would grace me today. Mirror carp are quite hard to come by around these parts. And that is one of the best looking ones I've ever had out of here. or just low 20 mirror here. Almost looks like an English fish. How fitting. Let's have a look at the other side of this gorgeous specimen. What a gorgeous fish. What a wonderful little treat. What a great little sunrise surprise. Look at that. Had to reposition the rig there, as it was clear they were feeding a little tighter to this weed wall. So I threw in a scoop of monster carp corn pellets, put the pop-up right back out there, felt that nice donk. Within mere moments, it's away again. Carrying a little bit of weed in tow, but there is indeed a fish there. Just keeping himself nice and low right here in front. It's another quality fish. Another quality fish. Another quality, very angry fish, I might say. Let's get this one out and have a look. Well, how about that? Another gorgeous 20-pound specimen. This time, a beautiful common. Little piece missing out of the tail there. Real character. Gotta love it. Two 20-pound fish back to back. Let's get this one back. Well, there you have it. Another stunning 20-pound common. Back you go. Well, boy blunder strikes again. And if you know anything about Paul and my's friendship, you'll know just that. He is Captain Disaster and I am Boy Blunder. I was trying to set up my camera, once again my little action camera that I have down by the rods to capture the run videos. And unfortunately, it fell in. And there's somebody came by in their boat, you know, and it created a bit of wake, and I just watched it slide in, and it was in slow motion. Like, oh, and it was too late. So I'll throw it in the rice, and you know, maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to get the moisture out of it. It still turns on, but there's definitely some water in behind the lens here, and it might be the end of it. And if that's the case, them's the breaks. It served me well over these past, 5 years I think I've had this thing now. I've had a pretty productive morning, so I can't complain. Some quality fish landed. And if I have a few more, I have a few more, but this video might get long-winded. So I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. And until next time, tight lines.